Why should you get rid of contradictions in your mind? What are contradictions? Contradictions are beliefs that are contradictory to each other, which you hold both or many of them in your mind. And they cause you pain and suffering and confusion in your life. How do you prove that to yourself? How do you know that you have contradictions in your mind? And how do you know that you need to be getting over them? You need to be getting over your pain and suffering, and that you can get over that pain and suffering and confusion. Well, if you look at back in your life, look at your history, you've had things which caused you pain and suffering and confusion, which you've gotten over. We refer to them as getting over it. You've gotten over it somehow by figuring out what it was, what it is, what's true and not true, by getting rid of contradictions in your mind. Do you understand? Contradictions are beliefs that you hold in your mind that are contradictory to each other. They are about one thing. For example, let me give you an example. What about in your relationships? You hold several ideas about one thing, about love. You love this person, but you're incredibly jealous about them. Or you feel incredible jealousy, but you love them. But you feel incredible jealousy. But you're angry at them, but you love them. Why do you feel anger? Why do you feel, why you're not excited at this moment for having them around? Why are you not turned on by them? These are the pain, suffering, and confusion that you have in your life because you have many different contradictions that you hold in your brain, beliefs about it. Because you haven't gone through the scientific method of experiencing things and coming up with a theory, experimenting about it, finding out what's consistent, what's persistently true, and coming up with a new knowledge and truth about it. What you've actually done was you've taken what people have told you, or what you've known for an unknown reason. You know it. You don't know why you know it. You just know it. And then you've operated your life based on that. Now, there are a lot of things that we do the scientific method on, except for relationships, because we presume it's true. Which is why what I provide here in this channel is enlightenment about that. Enlightenment is when you enlighten yourself about something. It's not something you have to be in a top mountain and meditating for 7 years to reach enlightenment. Enlightenment, by its literal definition, is to lighten the load, to unburden yourself, or to illuminate, to enlighten something, to shed light upon something. When you hold contradictions in your mind, find out what parts in your life, what parts of your day, what parts of your month, what parts of your year, how much time do you spend in that time with pain and suffering and confusion? Is it 1%? Is it 10% of that day, of that month, or of that year, which you feel pain, suffering, and confusion? Why do you feel that pain, suffering, and confusion? Well, if you look back over the history of your life, from experience, you know this with confidence. You know with confidence that you have pain and suffering and confusion because you have contradictions about it. You have a lot of contradictions in terms in your life, words that you presume to know the meaning, which are actually not the meaning. They're, what's the word? I forgot the word, but they're not actually what it means. They're not actually what it is. For example, because words intrinsically have no meaning. For example, love. You love the person, but you feel jealousy. Well, that's called a contradiction in terms. You can't love them and feel jealousy about them. So what is jealousy? That's something you have to define as well. What is a relationship? That's also something you have to define. Is it clear? Are you clear about it? Which is why I provide a course on enlightenment about relationships. Click the link in my bio. Check out the Successful Open Relationship System of Relationships. It's a free video you can watch for 30 minutes, which will enlighten you about a system you can put into place in your relationships. So I'm going to give you a mantra that you can live by in your life that will really get rid of a lot of pain and suffering in your life. Are you ready? It's anything you know that you don't know why you know it has to be suspect. Anything you know that you know, but you don't know why you know it. You just heard about it and you presume it's true. You presume your life that it's true. You feel confident about it, but you have done no experiments about it. That's suspect for introspection. That's suspect for experimentation, thought experimentation or actual experimentation, finding out what's actually true, getting rid of contradictions in your mind. So getting rid of the pain and suffering and even trauma. Remember how we talked about the other day that to understand all is to forgive all, which is another way of saying that for you to If you understand everything, makes it possible for you to forgive anything. It doesn't mean that you understand everything in the world and you're all-knowing. It means that in that particular context, about that particular person in that situation, when you understand everything about that situation and that person in that context, you're able to forgive anything. Let me give an example of an enlightenment. A lot of people, they go through 5 years, 10 years down the road in their life, and they're unable to forgive somebody for something heinous that they've done, or they presume to be heinous. But you can't forgive them. These people are living their life with pain and suffering and confusion and perhaps trauma because they can't forgive somebody. Well, until they become enlightened, perhaps they watched a video here, and they recognize that forgiveness is not something you can give somebody. You can't. It's impossible. 5 years down the line, they could have very well living a painless and suffer-less life, happy, not even recognizing they've done something so heinous to you. Maybe they're too ignorant about it. For whatever reason, you can't give them forgiveness because it's impossible. You can only forgive yourself. You can forgive yourself by understanding all. It makes it possible for you to forgive all. Forgive yourself from the trauma. Forgive yourself from something so heinous, the pain and the suffering. You can forgive yourself when you understand everything. Now, just in this instance, which the things that I talk about in my channel is the areas which you require enlightenment on in relationships, particularly romantically and sexually. So live by this mantra that anything you know that you don't know why you know it, you haven't gone through the experimentation, the thought experimentation or the actual experimentation of why you know those things, is suspect and makes it worthwhile for you to figure out why they exist. A good question. Why? Why should I be doing it this way? Why should I be doing it that way? Why is our relationships portrayed in this way? What are some other ways that you could portray relationships? You could experience relationships and experience connection with other people that are actually better, and it works. Check out the course, SOR System of Relationships. Click the link in my bio. Link on below if you have any thoughts. I'd love to interface with you there. Share this video with other people. It'll make the world a better place for all of us. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.